Today we are working with algebraic expressions, otherwise known as variable expressions. Now, what is a variable expression? Well, it's just a math expression that has at least one variable, which is a letter in math, and it has at least one operation. Now, it can have more than one. So let's talk about the variables in math. Math really is all about numbers, but sometimes our numbers are hidden. And I think of a variable as like this door that has this big X on it. So we're going to put a letter that stands for this number. And if we open up the door and we peek behind the door, we can see what the number is. It's just hidden. It's like in a costume. So whenever I see a letter in math, I know it's a number. I just don't know what the number is. So when we take a look at a variable expression, we're going to definitely have variables, which are our letters, but we're also going to have numbers, and the numbers have different meanings. So if you just have a number by itself, like 12 and 5/10, that's called a constant, because 12 and 5/10 is constantly 12 and 5/10. It can never be anything else. But we also have this number 7 that sits before the z in this variable expression. Well, that 7 is a coefficient. And we always say whatever numbers are before variables, those are coefficients. Now, the coefficient tells us how many times that variable is added together. So remember, multiplication means repeated addition. So when I see 7z, it means I'm going to add z together 7 times for that repeated addition. So the coefficient is far different than the constant. Now, when I see my variables here, I don't know what the number that it represents is, but I know it is a number for that. So in this variable expression, w divided by 4 plus 12 and 5/10 minus 7z, though there are 3 terms in that expression. The way I know there are 3 terms is because terms are separated by addition and subtraction signs. Just those 2 operations. So when I see w divided by 4, it sits to the left of that addition sign. That's my term number 1. When I see 12 and 5/10, which sits to the right of the addition sign, that is my term number 2. And when I see minus 7z, the 7z sits to the right of the subtraction sign. That's term number 3. So the only things that can separate terms in variable expressions are your addition and your subtraction sign. Now, sometimes we're going to have variable expressions that are just one term, such as x. And notice there's no operation there, but it's still just one term. Now, sometimes we'll have variable expressions that have 2 terms. So when I have 3 plus 1/2 b, I've got the term to the left of the addition sign and the term to the right. There's 2 terms there. And then we can go on and we can have 3 terms, 4 terms. Here's an example of a 3-term variable expression. 16 and 2/10 minus 3 times 4 plus 14 divided by 2. Now notice it's only 3 terms because multiplication does not separate terms and division does not separate terms. It's only addition and subtraction. Now, the hardest things for most kids to do is to change word phrases to variable expressions. So what's going to happen is you're going to be given just a phrase in words that's mathematical. Something like 5 less than y. So a lot of times I'll think, okay, how would I do it if I wanted 5 less than 10? I would do 10 minus 5. Well, you do the same thing with the variable expression. You have to think, what do you have to have first? Well, I have to have my y first in order to take 5 away from it. So my variable expression for 5 less than y would be y minus 5. So let's go a little bit harder. What if we have something like 6 times the quantity 2x plus 3y? Well, I'm going to start from left to right. And I see 6 times. So I know there's going to be a 6 there. In multiplication, we often don't use any operation at all when we are working in algebra. And where it says the quantity, I always know that's parentheses. So I just put my parentheses there. And then I just go inside my parentheses and I see 2x plus 3y. Well, 2x, that 2 is my coefficient, meaning I have x plus x, plus 3y. 3 is my coefficient, meaning I have y plus y plus y. So my final variable expression will be 6 times the quantity 2x plus 3y. So let's go a little harder. What if we have 12 3/4 less than the product of 7 and a number x? Okay, you just have to take it piece by piece. So 12 3/4 less than the product. Okay, that has to come at the end because I have to have the product first in order to take something less than that. So I'm going to come down here. The product of 7 and a number x. Product means multiplication, so I'm going to put 7 in whatever the number that x represents I put next to it, so I just put 7x. Then I need to take 12 3/4 less than that, so I'm going to subtract 12 3/4. Now these take time to get really good at. You just have to keep practicing them. But that's all there is to know really about algebraic expressions. Now it's your turn. Have some fun.